Alright, this week we're going to talk about training core stability, how we train it, and also why we train it. So, core stability, we're talking about kind of that lumbar region and its ability to resist rotation, side bending, and then flexion and extension. This is important because when we get into our main movements, our squats, our deadlifts, push-ups, pull-ups, things of that nature, it's really important to be able to maintain a neutral spine. The stronger we can be here in our trunk, the greater amount of force we'll be able to transmit through our upper extremity or lower extremity. So first we're going to go into anti-flexion and anti-extension movement. So for our anti-flexion and anti-extension movement, we're going to use just a simple plank progression. So this is something you are probably very familiar with. It doesn't require any equipment. You can do it at home, in the office. Got Steven here in his workout gear, so maybe he's doing it back in the office, I don't know. So first we're going to go just into a basic plank. Keeping tension right here in the abdomen, keeping his hips in line with his lumbar spine. Also, he's tied up here through the upper back as well. He's not slouching through the shoulders. He's got his shoulder blades fixed into position. So this would be a good, just kind of basic beginner variation. To progress from here, we're going to go into a plank arm march, so we're going to make it a little more difficult. So go ahead and punch arms out, alternating. Good. So as he's doing this, he's trying not to rotate too much through his hips, trying to keep his abdomen, hips facing the ground. We're just kind of reducing the stability a little bit, making it more demanding. So those are our plank progressions. Alright, for the lateral bending, we're going to use a kettlebell carry. So there's a couple different variations I like to use. We'll go through those right here. So again, we're trying to resist that side bending, so we're going to use a suitcase carry. We're going to have kettlebell in one hand, and we're just going to try to walk as normally as possible with our shoulders level. It's important not to walk, trying to pop that hip out and let the kettlebell rest on the leg. Really want to try to keep shoulders level and pretend like you're almost walking on a balance beam, so you're walking straight ahead. Another variation is a different position, so we go into that one-arm rack position. Again, shoulders level. I like to tell people to try to keep their fist right under their chin, elbow right underneath the wrist. Same thing, just walking in a straight line. So those are two different kettlebell carry variations to train that lateral bend component. Alright, so for the rotational exercise, we're going to train something called the Palloff press. What this exercise does is kind of train the trunk to be able to resist that rotational force and be able to stabilize in that transverse plane. So here we're going to set up the cable about sternum height. We're going to walk out with the handle, shoulders down, elbows at our sides. We're going to press out away from us, and as this handle comes away from our body, this is pulling back and it's creating that pull here. So we're trying to resist that rotation, stay strong, and then hands back in. So you can go through reps. You can also do iso holds where you're holding the cable out, trying to get that longer hold. You can also play around with the base, play around with your feet, so you can go wider to make it easier. You can narrow up your base and go split stance to make it harder. You can also get down on one knee and make it a little more difficult. So those are a couple of Palloff press variations that you can use. Alright, so that sums it up for core stability training. Hope everybody's having a great week, and let's have another good week of training.